Hello friends, my name is Dr. Jayesh and I am working in Meenakshi Labs. In this video we will be discussing about quality control in PCR. Since this is a huge topic, I will be dividing it into two parts. So let us see the first part of this video. Hello friends, in this video we will be discussing about quality control in PCR. Laboratories using PCR should analyze positive and negative QC samples on routine basis to demonstrate adequate performance of PCR-based methods. General guidance on both positive and negative control types and the frequency in which they should be performed will be discussed here. The actual number of controls will depend on the experimental design and expected variability. A summary of QC samples for detection and confirmation procedure is explained here. We will see corrective actions of QC samples failure and false positive, false negative prevention. At the end, I have also included a short discussion on participating in proficiency testing study. As we know, the PCR has three stages: the extraction stage, the amplification stage, and the analysis stage. So, we will discuss one by one about the quality control in each stage. The method protocols for control should be documented in the laboratory's SOP, and concise versions of this SOP should be available at the working place on the bench. Posting bench SOPs provide technicians with ease of access to method procedure and helps promote consistency between analysts. SOP for particular method also should document quality assurance procedure such as the type and frequency of QC controls and corrective actions for preventive positive and negative control failures. The first stage in PCR is extraction of nucleic acid. So we will start with the controls in extractions. A known positive tissue sample or tissue spike with target pathogen DNA and a known negative tissue should be processed with the test sample to ensure that DNA extraction was successful and contamination did not occur. DNA extraction controls. The DNA extraction controls consist of cells of a known concentration containing the internal control DNA sequence with no known homology to any organism. These cells are spiked into lysis buffer with the target sample prior to DNA extraction. Following the extraction, control mix, that is primers and probe, are added to the reaction prior to amplification. Signal derived from the internal control DNA creates minimal interference with the detection of the sample DNA and confirms the success of extraction step. The DNA extraction controls not only serve as an indicator of the effectiveness of the extraction process but can also be used to monitor co-purification of PCR inhibitors, as the DNA extraction control exhibited a similar profile of inhibition to the sample gene, both in the CT and in signal strength. Now, the RNA extraction controls. The RNA extraction controls consist of artificial cells of a known concentration containing the internal control RNA sequence with again no known homology to any organism. These cells are spiked into lysis buffer with the target sample prior to RNA extraction. Following the extraction, control mix, that is primers and probes, is added to the reaction mix prior to reverse transcription and amplification. Signal derived from the internal control RNA create minimal interference with the detection of the sample RNA and confirms the success of extraction step. The RNA extraction control not only serves as an indicator of the effectiveness of the extraction process but can also be used to monitor co-purification of PCR inhibitors. Now we will see how to interpret the extraction controls. So there are four possible results that can be obtained after the extraction process and the amplification of the extracted DNA as well as RNA and the internal extraction controls of DNA and RNA. The first possible result is amplification of target as well as internal control nucleic acid. This shows that target as well as internal control DNA are extracted successfully and are detected successfully. The second result is amplification of only internal control of nucleic acid used while extraction and target is not detected. So this shows the target is not detected but internal control is detected. So it indicates that a successful extraction and qPCR reaction occurred. Now the third possibility is neither the target nucleic acid nor the internal control of nucleic acid of extraction were amplified. This shows the results were invalid. Targets and internal control nucleic acid not detected and the extraction was not successful. In this case, the test should be repeated right from the extraction. The fourth possibility is target is detected whereas the internal control nucleic acid of extraction is not detected. Again, these results are invalid where internal control is not detected. So again there is a unsuccessful extraction and the test should be repeated right from the extraction process. So in case of failure of extraction controls, the process of extraction should be repeated and this shows that the importance of extraction control in the process of extraction of nucleic acid. So this was the quality control in the first process of PCR, that is extraction of nucleic acid. Now we will move to the extraction. Now we will move to the next process of PCR, that is amplification. So we will see the quality controls, the types of controls in the polymerase chain reaction, that is PCR or amplification process. We will start with the positive controls. Positive controls are analyzed to verify that the method is capable of adequately recovering and amplifying the target. So here we are talking about the method. That means the PCR method. The concentration of the sequence of interest in these positive controls should be 10 to 100 times higher than the defined detection limit of PCR. A positive control is considered to be acceptable if the DNA of interest was amplified by PCR as defined by the same confirmation technique used for the analytical samples. Here we will discuss on positive control samples that should be included for PCR analysis. Precautions should be taken to avoid contamination of samples with positive control template. Positive control preparation should be physically separated from field sample and negative control preparation, and positive control samples should be handled last. A summary is of recommended positive currency samples is provided here. So now we will see the what are the types of positive controls that can be used in PCR analysis. So first of all is PCR positive control. The purpose of PCR positive control is to verify that PCR master mix and reagents were prepared correctly to produce amplification of the target nucleic acid, and this should be done with each batch at least one sample per batch. Then there are inhibition positive control. These are used to verify that interfering constituent from the matrix carried over from the isolation of organism or do nucleic acid do not inhibit the PCR, and again this should be done with each batch. Then there is a method positive control. These are used to verify that the method is performing properly and is capable of amplifying the target nucleic acid from the organism of interest. Again, this should be performed with each batch. The fourth positive control is the matrix 5, and it is used to determine the effect of matrix on the overall method's recovery and verify it does not have an inhibitory effect on the PCR. And this is a once in a while process and should be done with the all types of matrices which are used in the laboratory for a particular diagnostic analysis. So all these controls we will see one by one in detail. So first of all we will start with PCR positive control. PCR positive controls are used to verify that PCR master mix and reagents are prepared correctly in order to produce amplification of the target nucleic acid. This type of positive control is run with each PCR batch. A PCR batch is defined as a group of samples that are processed and amplified at the same time under the same condition using the same PCR master mix in the same thermocycler or real-time PCR. PCR positive controls are prepared by addition of an exogenous control to the master mix. Exogenous controls can be any of the following: a purified total nucleic acid extract from the organism containing the sequence of interest, It can be the whole organism, which may be used when the nucleic acid target of interest can be released from the seeded organism by heating before or during PCR. A specific nucleic acid fragment containing the entire sequence to be amplified, including the primer binding site. Or it can be a cloned DNA fragment containing a modified form of target sequence. Modified forms produce PCR products that can be distinguished from the target sequence by size, by restriction mapping, or by alternative probe recognition sequence. Modified forms, which are called internal controls, are prepared by in vitro generation of insertions, deletions, or other sequence change. Modified forms of the target that differ significantly from the target sequence in the length or GC content will have different amplification efficiencies from target sequences and thus are not appropriate for use as positive controls. A heterogeneous sequence that has been previously shown to be amplified with an efficiency that is comparable to the target sequence, or RNA transcript form, a cloned DNA fragment containing the target sequence or a modified target sequence for use in RT-PCR applications. For quantitative PCR methods, the PCR positive control is evaluated by determining the total amount of the target nucleic acid or organism in the control divided by the amount added to the reaction as a spike. For qualitative PCR methods, the PCR positive control typically is evaluated in terms of detect or non-detect. So it is just a simple qualitative measurement whether it will show presence or absence. The second in the category of positive controls is PCR inhibition positive controls. Inhibition positive controls are used to verify that interfering constituent from an matrix which may be carried over during isolation of nucleic acid or organisms during sample processing do not inhibit the PCR. Inhibition positive control template can be prepared by adding any of the exogenous controls to a process sample or by using an endogenous control. Endogenous controls are target sequences that are expected to always be present in the sample, for example, ribosomal DNA or RNA. These controls should be used only if it is demonstrated that there are consistent occurrence and recovery of these endogenous control template in different samples, and if the control and target assays show comparable susceptibility to inhibition in different matrices. They are commonly used for analysis of clinical samples. Exogenous controls can be used to analyze PCR inhibition in several ways. This can be used in the following ways: as a separate aliquot of the same nucleic acid extract from the same sample. It can be extract from separate replicate samples processed in parallel, or it can be the same aliquot of the same sample using modified internal controls. The absence of detectable PCR product from these control signals PCR inhibition. For quantitative PCR methods, different degrees of inhibition can be assessed directly by comparing the results from the control with the result from the PCR positive control. However, this requires that both controls be amended with the same amount of the positive control template. For qualitative PCR methods, the PCR inhibition positive control is evaluated in terms of a detect or non-detect, again a simple qualitative absence or presence. If no matrix inhibitory effect on the target of interest are detected, then the frequency with which this inhibitory control is performed can be reduced to a periodic check to assess potential changes in the matrix over time. So, with this, we have concluded the first part of quality control in PCR. Here in this video, we have seen the extraction control and the positive control in the process of amplification of PCR. In the amplification again, we have seen two types of control. The first was positive control and the second was inhibitory control. In the next video, we will be seeing about the method specific controls, matrix controls as well as negative controls. Negative controls will be of two types, PCR negative control and the method blank control. So with this I will conclude this video, and you can call me or mail me for any of these queries on the mail IDs or the phone numbers given here. Thank you.